After everything that came out of the Chapter 5 ARG for Poppy Playtime, a hidden video was discovered. One that changes everything we thought we knew about Poppy Playtime. And yeah, stay with me because this gets really dark. It all started when Seeing Reason, the Discord account that had been dropping breadcrumbs for the ARG, suddenly reappeared after going completely silent. And with that comeback came a pretty suspicious message, basically saying, "I've been watching what you found. It got me thinking. I need one last little favor, and then I'm gone." You know, the classic, this is about to go to hell, but phrased nicely. Things get even weirder when people ask them directly about Poppy and her connection to the prototype. And this time, no dancing around it, Seeing Reason said that what the prototype did is hard to surpass, basically saying, "I'm not sure Poppy is actually any better." No clear answers, just vibes, but bad ones. After that, Seeing Reason uploads a folder called Salvation and says more or less, "This is the last thing I have." But of course, it wasn't that simple. The folder was encrypted, password protected, and nobody could open anything. When people pointed it out, the account replied with, "Wait, I'm not done yet." And right there is when everything went straight to hell. Because at that exact moment, the official Playtime Co. account came back. An account that had been dead for a long time. And it didn't come back quietly. It went straight for the throat. The first message was basically, "This network is prohibited. I'm talking to you, Seeing Reason." Seeing Reason asks who they are, and Playtime Co. fires back with a discreet threat, saying the people Seeing Reason has been talking to can't be trusted, that they're a threat, and that Seeing Reason shouldn't have forgotten that. Seeing Reason plays dumb, replying with a casual, "Oh, I didn't know," and that was their last message. Right after that, Playtime Co. drops a final line like, "We'll talk about this later," and bans Seeing Reason from the server. But it doesn't stop there. They post the most important message of all, that the attempts to sabotage their work have not gone unnoticed, that they now have their attention, that disobedience has a price, and that the work will continue, whether people like it or not. And of course, the community lost its mind, because we had just seen an account we thought was abandoned come back out of nowhere and drop a massive lore bomb, making it painfully clear that Playtime Co. is still there, watching everything. From that moment on, there was only one objective: crack the password to solve the Salvation folder, because it was obvious that something huge was waiting inside. And this is where things get really interesting. Even though Seeing Reason had been banned from the Discord server, they didn't fully disappear. Instead, they started privately messaging individual members of the server, one by one, like they were passing information under the table. They sent out images, each at a time, each one cropped, all with a very noticeable red border. On their own, they meant absolutely nothing. Dark, incomplete photos, random numbers, half-legible lines of text. It looked like attention bait. Until the community did what it always does. Within minutes, people realized these weren't random images at all. They were pieces of a massive puzzle. Once assembled, they formed a complete image that revealed several numbers in a very specific phrase. By the glimmer of the half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. And everyone just froze. Like, okay, now what the hell does that mean? The answer came fast. A quick search revealed that the phrase wasn't original at all. It comes straight from Frankenstein, the original novel written by Mary Shelley in 1818. So no, this wasn't a random reference. This was classic literature baked directly into the lore. From there, the puzzle went completely insane. The community spent hours combining the numbers from the full image with passages from the original book, until they finally extracted a key phrase. Don't ask me how. It was the work of absolute lore degenerates. But the important part is, they pulled it off. The final password was, "Why fear the infinite?" With that, the Salvation folder was finally opened. Inside was a really strange file, with no extension at all, sitting inside another folder with the exact same name. So far, nobody fully understands what that file is for, and honestly, it doesn't seem like it's being used for anything important. But if anyone knows more, drop it in the comments, because that mystery is still wide open. But the real punch wasn't there. Inside the encrypted folder there was also an image, and this one felt wrong. It shows a dark hallway, clearly inside the Playtime Co. factory, with blood smeared and dragged across the floor. You can't see much, but you see enough to know that something very bad happened there. In the middle of the image, there's a black square covering part of the content. When the community started messing with the brightness and contrast, something else appeared. Stretched hidden text. That text, copied exactly as it was and pasted at the end of a YouTube link, led straight to a hidden video on Mob Entertainment's official channel. The video is called Restricted Salvation, and without exaggeration, it might be one of the most disturbing things we've seen so far connected to Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime. And even then, this was just the beginning. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch the full video. Yeah, it's long, but it's also one of the densest and most unhinged things Mob Entertainment has released so far. That's why it deserves to be broken down slowly, piece by piece. The video starts by showing several shots that clearly look like security camera footage inside the Playtime Co. factory. It's not entirely clear which exact areas we're looking at, but the first location feels pretty generic. Just another section of the factory that we'll probably explore in the game. It doesn't seem too important, at least not yet. The second shot is a different story. Here we see something that stands out immediately. A chair. Very similar to the ones used in dental offices, with a lamp hanging directly above it. And it instantly rings a bell, because it looks almost identical to the Pianosaurus chair we saw in earlier teasers. Everything points to it being the same chair, just placed in a different room. And just in case that wasn't uncomfortable enough, you can clearly see a trail of dragged blood on the floor. Meaning, this wasn't just experiments happening here. Something went wrong, very wrong. If you look closely at the bottom left corner of the frame, there is a key date. August 18th, 1995, exactly 10 days after the Hour of Joy. And it also lines up with the same day Huggy Wuggy attacked Preston Willard and Jessica Newman while they were hiding after the disaster. And none of this is a coincidence. And right there, the video completely shifts. We cut to a moving shot where we see Jessica Newman walking through the Playtime Co. factory, almost completely in the dark. There is some light. Sure, but it's minimal and unstable, like the factory itself is slowly dying. And this is huge, because many of us believed Jessica was dead, since when Huggy entered the room, the only person we saw escape was Preston. This video confirms something massive. Jessica did survive. Somehow she distracted Huggy and managed to get away alive, at least for a while. We see her moving through the same hallway shown in the earlier image. The lights flicker and the atmosphere shifts. Jessica is terrified, and you can hear it in her breathing, in her voice. She's running for her life. A bit further ahead, she comes across something brutal. On the floor lies Braun, completely destroyed and split in half. Remember, Braun is experiment 1199, and originally Thomas Clark was inside him. Although, as revealed in Chapter 4, there are multiple identical toys with different people inside. So this Braun might not be Thomas, but that doesn't make it any less disturbing. The toy is in pieces, and off to the side, you can see a severed hand. There's no clean way to say it. It's deeply unsettling. Jessica keeps moving forward and enters another room. She looks to the right and seems to make out something that looks like a cavern. This instantly brings to mind the cavern-like areas we saw in chapters 3 and 4. Those raw unfinished spaces, and far away, more designed areas like the playcare or the prison. Strange noises start to echo. At first, she doesn't see anything, until she looks up. And there they are, two small white lights in the darkness. Two eyes. It's not 100% confirmed who it is, but everything points to catnap. The time period, the size of the head, the context, it all lines up way too well. Still, there's no official confirmation. Jessica panics and runs out of the room. Outside, the noises continue, getting closer and closer. Suddenly, a blinding white light hits her. Something horrific sounds off. and a full-on chase begins through the hallways. She turns a corner, runs up a flight of stairs, and reaches an area marked as aquarium preparation rooms. Nobody really knows what that means exactly, but it sounds like just another experimental section inside the factory. Jessica keeps running, turns down a couple more corridors, and then she slips. And here's where it gets worse. When she looks up, we finally see who was chasing her. The prototype, Experiment 1006. And there's a crucial detail. This time, we only see one white light, not two. A single eye. That confirms something many people had already suspected. The prototype has only one eye. And this connects perfectly with that old Halloween illustration that showed a pumpkin with a single eye. Something many people thought represented its face. Turns out they weren't far off at all. And up to this point, things are still about to get worse. With all of this, we can finally say it without hesitation. The identity of the prototype is basically revealed. And yes, before any questions, those white lights are eyes. The series has been pushing this idea for a while now. When someone becomes a monster, their eyes turn white. Here, the prototype finally speaks directly to Jessica and drops a line that changes everything.
Please.
That's funny. You're the
second person.
I've lit today.
who said that. The other was my
Good friend, Preston.
Preston was
Always.
nice to me. You were never very nice.
Where are you?
Dr. Newman.
Meaning, she's not the first person he'd encountered that day. Before her, it was with Preston Willard. And what's really unsettling is the way it says it. It makes it clear that Preston treated it well, unlike Jessica. And that explains what happens next. The prototype doesn't like Jessica. She didn't show respect. And because of that, she ends up just like Catnap at the end of chapter 3. Then the video completely shifts tone and shows us a much calmer scene. An office, a desk lit by a lamp. Everything way too peaceful compared to what we've been seeing. And right there, the prototype delivers one of the most important lines in the entire ARG.
I'm so glad
You were there.
when I needed you.
Preston. Now I can be there for you.
Always.
This opens up a powerful theory. Everything suggests we're now seeing things from Preston's point of view. It doesn't feel like a camera. The angle is strange, unnatural, like someone is immobilized, unable to move. And in front of him, the prototype places a doll and moves its eyes in a deeply unsettling way. Here's the disturbing part. That doll could be Jessica, punished, trapped forever for not obeying, turned into a toy. There's another theory that the doll is Preston and that Jessica truly died. But if we're being honest, the one that fits best is that the doll is Jessica. And then the big question appears. Why didn't the prototype go after Preston if both of them were employees? The answer lies in the hour of joy. Preston, along with other workers, was part of the group that freed the monsters. They gave them the chance to be free, to move throughout the factory. And even though it all ended in a massacre, it's very likely the prototype and the others remember who helped them. That's why some employees weren't transformed. That's why they stayed in their bodies. It wasn't luck. The experiments were genuinely grateful. The video ends with one final line. See you soon. And then 3 more numbers appear. When added to all of the hidden numbers throughout the video, the community managed to decode a secret link. That link leads to a page called End of the Rope. The title says it all. The end. It's a countdown that ends on February 11th. That officially marks the end of the Chapter 5 ARG for Poppy Playtime. And everything points to the same thing. A new trailer, most likely with real gameplay. Now, after knowing all of this, what do you think? Is the doll really Jessica? Or is it Preston? Do you think the prototype punishes or rewards people based on how they treated it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.